This is Tiffany from WVR, and I'm here with Molly of Always. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you guys have been here for a day, you said, in Boston. How has the food scene treated you so far? What have you had since you got here?
We usually on this tour they have catering, with a lot of different vegetarian options because I'm not sure which of their band members are vegetarian, but we have reaped the benefits of all of their food perks. They get pizza a lot after the show. Yeah, they also have dessert usually every night, which we don't usually take part in, which is a nice treat most of the time. Today we got pho. Catering I think is happening right now, so I'm excited.
Oh no, am I making you miss
Oh no,
dinner?
it's from like 5 to 8 o'clock. Or
Oh
something.
geez,
Yeah,
okay.
we just ate for the first time. That wasn't a part of the food that they provide.
Okay,
So.
and where did you go?
We got Vietnamese food.
In Chinatown, or?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if you say pho or pho.
We say pho.
Pho?
Well, at least I say pho. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I'm
Thank
not
you
from
for-
Boston natively, so.
Oh no, but I'm sure that you. I mean, I will go with what you say.
Okay.
I'll go with what anyone says. Yeah,
So,
it was delicious.
do you remember the name of the place?
Forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. It was like Sing Sing.
Oh, you went to Shin Shin.
Oh, say that again.
Shin Shin.
Shin Shin.
That's my favorite Vietnamese place. You guys picked a really good one.
The guy who we did a session with told us to go.
Oh, no way.
It was great.
Where did you do the session?
I don't know.
Okay.
XM something.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it's really funny because Shin Shin is right next to this other place called Pho Pasteur, which is, I think people feel like it's a little more friendly, so you usually get a lot of the non-Asians going to Pho Pasteur, and it's more authentic to go to Shin Shin. So you guys made a good choice.
They seem very nice.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah.
So I was actually really excited because I showed up a little bit early and I saw you guys had a t-shirt that has a TV dinner on it, seems like.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind that design?
Well, we usually do a lot of our art from old magazines, old Life magazines, or old National Geographic. National Geographic is where we got our the cover to our record.
Oh, really?
But so the TV dinner was just something that the only thing that we saw that we thought would look cool on a T-shirt, because every kind of, like, if you put a whale on it, or if you, everything has some kind of reference, so you have to me the TV dinner meant nothing, but we are all vegetarian, or pescatarian.
Oh, really?
I should say.
Okay.
So a lot of people say, like, well, I can't buy that because I'm a vegetarian.
There was
like, no, we're all vegetarians.
chicken on there, right? Or something. It looked like there's a meat entree.
I think that it's maybe pork, because there
okay.
are apples in there as well, but I wasn't alive for that era, so I don't know what typically they had.
Yeah, it was definitely, I could tell it was old school because it was on an aluminum tray, and that just would not fly with our microwave era, I think.
That's a toaster oven kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys have been on tour for a really long time. I saw you guys in July last year.
Yeah.
And it just seems like you've been touring this entire time. Have you had any time off or breaks?
We had something like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow, that's really short.
And we had a little bit of time over Christmas.
Okay.
But other than that, it's been steady, which is good. We, intended to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ideal situation, so you can't complain about it,
Okay, you're not burnt out or anything.
I am
at this
probably
point.
burnt out, but you're oblivious to your own state of mind, aren't you?
Well, I guess in your travels over the past year, have there been any standout restaurants that you've been to or countries that you really enjoyed eating in?
Good question. Well, I mean, Brooklyn is good. There's a place called Wild Ginger that we all really like to go for lunch. I'm sure that's a cliche, though.
Why is that?
Well,
It's
Brooklyn
popular,
is like
or?
the land of everything. Like, New York City, you can get whatever you want, so you don't really have to work to find things, whereas, like, if you're in, I don't know, even Boston, you have to do some serious Yelping. Yelping has been really helpful.
Is Yelp big in Canada? Because I know in certain countries, like Yelp or Open Table is more popular, but when you're traveling in the States, it's
Yelp is good for Toronto and Montreal. I haven't spent any length of time in Vancouver, so I don't actually know. But yeah, it's weird how, like, in Europe they do more of like a TripAdvisor kind of thing. they don't really do a whole lot of Yelp. But Yelp is very helpful. It just helps you find the hole in the wall when you don't have time to strike out, or like you don't even have the emotional capacity to handle a really terrible meal.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Alec enters. This is the food interview.
So wildflower, what did you say?
Oh, wild ginger.
Wild ginger.
Yeah.
Is that Asian or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, have there been any restaurants in other countries that you would recommend, or you had a really good experience at?
We've had some really good Indian food in London at a place called Tayyib's.
Okay.
That was amazing. That was like maybe one of the only times our label ever took us to dinner.
Ooh, so they had to impress you.
Yeah, and it was like BYOB, so people brought wine and stuff, and that was nice. Yeah, we try and get pho like everywhere we go. Now I'm saying pho with vigor. Because it's like the ideal thing. It's like the opposite of eating chips in the van.
And that's typically what happens, or try to avoid that?
You get chips when you're bored. That's what I figured out. You buy them because you're bored.
It's like crunchy satisfaction.
Yeah, it's just something to, kill time, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Actually, I think that's a trend that I've discovered, because almost every band I've interviewed always gets Asian on tour. I don't know if it's because I'm interviewing them, but they always talk about pho. Like, a lot of people recommended different pho restaurants in Vancouver, I think in California. So it's cool. Like, it seems like that's a really big trend right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is a huge... Well, Asia is obviously a gigantic place, which has a variety of different kinds of cuisines. But if I can generalize, it seems like they have a handle on the vegetable. Like, they understand that it doesn't need to be completely destroyed before you consume it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're usually getting some kind of, like, crunchy steamed vegetable in whatever you order.
Yeah.
If you're going for some sort of Asian cuisine. We always make fun of, like, Guy Fieri because he's like, I love Asian food. It's just, like, such a... Oh, really? They're all the same? But,
well, I think that's really interesting, because when I think of pho, actually, I'm not vegetarian, so when I think of pho, I think of really rich pork broth. But it seems like there are really good vegetarian options for it.
Yes, they always have a veggie. At least one veggie something. And it's usually just, like, broth, very plain. You can also, like, put in whatever flavor you want to make it, like, spicy or whatever, hoisin or something. But, yeah, it's like the opposite of everything you get at a gas station. You just want some vegetables, really.
Yeah, right.
And also, like, Southern food or, like, American food, that, your typical North American food really caters to, like, the meat realm. Whereas, like, if you're getting, like, collard greens or something, they're going to be brown. Right, yeah, totally. So there's no, like, nutritional value in, like, a lot of that. For the things that we would order, we end up just getting, like, a grilled cheese sandwich and just begging, like, the server to put, like, tomato in it or something for us. But
did you have a bad experience touring in the South in terms of finding vegetarian food?
We've had a lot of experiences with, like, all-you-can-eat buffets on highways on our way to, like, things like South by Southwest. Mexican food is great. We all love Mexican food because they have, like, really great breakfast.
Breakfast burritos or like platters?
Migas, I guess you call them, but like huevos, rancheros. It's like we all eat eggs, so, and like fish sometimes. So,
all right. Well, you've been touring for the past year, and then also have been opening for a lot of different bands. Would you say that any of those bands have particularly good taste in food, or have you been sort of eating separately from the bands that you've been supporting?
We've been pretty lucky with the Decemberists because they have, like, a wide range of things available for supper. And I think they have lunch too, which we never make it on time. That sort of have been our thing this tour, and we're usually early for everything, but we usually miss lunch. But we toured with a Canadian band called Absolutely Free.
Yeah.
They came on tour with us, and they actually make dinner every night in a rice cooker.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they
just throw it all in one pot. Or
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, they do things in different stages. Like, I think that they cook the rice maybe first, and then they, cook noodles or whatever, and then start, like, doing, like, the curry or, what else? They made a lot of curry. They made, like, chili. When we were in Austin, they got, like, a ton of stuff to make tacos, so they made, like, and it was all vegan. So it was, like, it was crazy because we walk in the venue and we'd be like, oh, I guess they're eating curry tonight. Like, every night they would have something.
Wow, that's so impressive that they were able to get produce and stuff and actually cook it on the road.
Yeah, well, they're pretty, they're like one of the, pretty strict, like, DIY everything. Like, they screen press all of their merch, and they're pretty hands-on guys, and all of their gear is, like, you know, very much in their own hands, so no random sound guy can, like, completely turn their set into a train wreck.
I see.
But they also only have 3 people, so, like, when it's more contained like that, doing a dinner like that is so much easier, whereas, like, we have 5, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 people, and they make, like, oatmeal in their rice cooker too, with, like, peanut butter and bananas and things like that.
Did you guys pick up on any tips from them in terms of trying to cook or eat healthier on tour?
Well, we actually, this is not anything, you know, it's not healthy at all, but we brought, like, a grilled cheese maker.
Oh, wow. What is that, like a griddle or something? Or
Carrie had one when you know, she was young, and it just has, like, 2 places to make, like, 2 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm imagining,
at the same
like, a
time.
fork and grill or something.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, and then it has, like, a diagonal line going through each
So
sandwich, so it just, like, melds it all into, like, one half or 2 halves. And so we get, like, cheese on our rider and whole wheat bread.
Oh, and then you
and, like,
just make it
tapenade and
yourself.
stuff.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's good at, like, really late at night, right before you go to bed, to have a crazy grilled cheese sandwich. But no, sometimes, and you can actually make, like, we've made eggs and stuff in it.
Oh,
like,
wow.
egg sandwiches and stuff.
Eggs are kind
good
of
for breakfast.
hard to transport, though, right?
Yeah, like, we would get, like, a carton of
Can you
like,
ask for that
egg
in your
whites. We have never, but I mean, you can get it for, like, $2, so, what else do? We do, like, an AeroPress, like, bring an AeroPress and get, like, ground coffee beans and stuff, and do our own coffee, because, like, Holiday Inn Express or something, just or, like, you know, whatever hotel, it's just, you're not really even drinking coffee at that point, you're just drinking, like, caffeine.
Yeah. Well, I see here that you have, it seems like, chips and dip. Is that typical writer?
At this particular venue, they seem to, like, provide their own, like, brand of, like, I don't know what those are. We usually get, like, it's nice to get, like, a bag of, like, a sealed bag with, like, a label on it, so you know, like, what's happening.
Right.
But yeah, we usually get, like, everything whole wheat and maybe hummus. We usually get olives and, like, maybe blue cheese. It all depends on, like, what they're willing to do for you, I guess. But we have to take bananas off because we get, like, a thing of bananas every night and they just turn brown.
Oh, no.
But,
yeah, I know in past interviews people have mentioned that they'll get food and bring it in the van afterward, and then you have to be really careful that it's not going to be something that goes bad, so it sounds like that's a similar situation.
Yeah, peanut butter transports really well. That's the one thing that, like, you know, if you're really in a terrible situation, you can just, like, whip peanut butter on whatever you have. Yeah, right. Whatever vessel is available to you.
Yeah, I interviewed a Sunny Day in Glasgow, like, about a year ago now, and I guess the singer, or not the singer, but, like, Ben Daniels, who I think leads the band, makes his own peanut butter and, like, brings it on the road with him.
Whoa,
so they have fresh peanut butter.
That is crazy.
It's
I would
pretty
love to be
intense.
able to do that.
Yeah.
Almond butter is a whole other beast.
Oh, yeah.
Almond butter is expensive, though.
Yeah, it's like twice as much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you could always buy it by the pound, right? If you go to Whole Foods or...
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Tips. We need those tips.
So I saw that you're from Cape Breton. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
So I looked up pictures of it. It looks really beautiful and somewhat remote. I'm guessing it doesn't have a lot of really big supermarket chains or anything like that.
No.
What's the food culture like there?
Oh, well, I mean, it's a pretty Scottish climate, so turnips are big there. Turnips, potatoes, beets, a lot of root vegetables, because the soil isn't, like, super fertile for that stuff. Traditionally, I think they cooked everything for a really long time. to make sure that it didn't have any kind of like disease in it, because there's no city, so everyone's just sort of doing it themselves. A lot of farming and stuff like that. But as far as cuisine, like, to be honest, I hadn't eaten an avocado until I was like 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just turnips.
Just straight turnips. My mom was a good cook, or is a good cook. She's still alive, but it's pretty Scottish, like pretty Canadian food, I think.
Yeah, when you say Scottish, I'm not too familiar with Scottish cuisine.
Well, like,
I think of haggis.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not either, but it's just like boiled potatoes, cottage cheese, some kind of meat, vegetables with like not a whole lot of thought behind like how they're prepared. Just sort of simply, like, they could be boiled even, like boiled broccoli or something, which is like, after the broccoli color has peaked beyond its like most vivid green, it becomes really sad.
Yeah. Did you grow up vegetarian?
No. I ate a lot of meat as a kid, and obviously a lot of seafood, because that's a huge thing in Cape Breton as well. It's like lobster and crab and haddock and trout and mackerel and fish like that. But I don't know. 8 years ago, I guess I started, and I'm still like a pescatarian.
Okay.
And we all are, actually. I should say that, but I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it's just nice to have a piece of fish.
Okay, so you'll permit yourself some.
Yeah, we're not like really snobby when it comes to the vegetarian thing.
Okay.
Because, if you're going to your grandma's house for Thanksgiving,
oh, you can't say no.
You can't be a jerk, or tell her that your morals are higher than hers or something. It's a really bizarre situation, but yeah, it's not a big deal at all.
Okay.
And right now, it's like you can get whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right now, your band is based in Toronto, is that correct? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been living there now?
About 3 years.
Okay, so it's a pretty significant amount of time, or significant enough to be able to.
Yeah, we all love Toronto.
For the...
I think we have a pretty good situation there where we know where like the things that we want.
Yeah.
Get into a pattern of things.
So, if you had a friend that was visiting you in Toronto, where would you recommend they go to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a place that Brian works and that I worked at for a while, called Aunties and Uncles, and that is a really great diner if you're looking for something that isn't afraid of if you're not afraid of butter and cheese and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great. It's and the inside is beautiful, and he's always playing like great 60s music, and it's just really a really great vibe. Then. Yeah, it's always extremely busy too, but so probably Aunties and Uncles. There's another breakfast place or a Mexican restaurant on Bloor Street called Tacos El Asador, and they have an amazing breakfast as well. For lunch, there's a strip around where we live, like Ossington Street. There's a place called Bazzara, and they have a really great lunch prefix, and it's like Japanese fusion. Bazzara?
Okay.
Yeah, that place has got a great prefix. It's pretty cheap, and you can get a whole whack of food. For dinner, I don't know. I would probably go somewhere like Ando is probably my favorite place for pho. Okay. In Toronto. We're all pretty into like sushi and pho. Okay. But where else? There's a lot of great vegetarian restaurants. There's great pizza. Like, I work at a pizzeria in Toronto called Libretto, and it's like Naples-styled thin crust pizza, which is delicious.
Do you have a history of working at restaurants then?
We all do. Well, I mean,
really?
Brian and I predominantly, but everyone has, I guess. But yeah, I've been a server for a long time. So.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great job. It's like, and a lot of bosses are used to people having to leave and come back, so it's a great job to have, and that's why it's so normal for people to work at bars and restaurants and stuff like that when they're in bands.
Yeah, right. So I actually just have one last question for you. So I know one of the songs off your last album, or your self-titled, is Atop a Cake. So if you were to order a cake that was called Alvvays, what sort of cake would that be?
Ooh. If I were speaking for the band, I would probably say carrot cake with cream cheese icing. Because I think that we can all agree that carrot cake is amazing. If it were me, I would say some kind of like blueberry cake with lemon curd.
Okay.
That's like my favorite thing ever.
That sounds awesome.
I'm into it. Upside down cake is sweet too.
Upside down cake.
Yeah.
Fruit cake.
Yeah. Something with fruit in it, yeah.
Well, that's it for all my questions. Did you have any other final thoughts about food?
Oh yes, I have a thing that I want to create for McDonald's because they don't have a veggie burger. And I want I want it to be called the Big Mac. And I want it to be exactly like a Big Mac except for veggie patties.
That's great.
Yeah, so if you want to pitch that, it's all yours. Yeah, though I feel like they would screw you over if you pitched that idea and took it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going through... Do you hear about the wage changes, the wage raises? They're basically trying to increase wages, minimum wages, for about 90,000 employees across all McDonald's stores over the next few months. A lot of people are really mad about it because apparently that only represents like 10% of McDonald's restaurants because they're not supporting franchises. Anyhow, there's lots of changes at McDonald's right now.
Well, if people can get paid more, I think, like, I mean, if maybe minimum wage needs to be raised,
yeah,
you know, across the board. I don't really know what, in America, what that's
there's like a whole group of people that really want minimum wage. I think they call it 15 an hour. That's their initiative. So a lot of people want them to raise it even more. So even though I guess it's a step in the right direction, a lot of people are still really upset about it. But that's another story.
Baby steps, I guess.
Yeah, right.
A place like McDonald's, I don't even know. Every little change would be astronomical.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't really understand. Economical stuff for me is a little bit too crazy for me to wrap my mind around. Like I can understand some of it, but
well, I'm sure they have
everything
lots
is in
of
such
people
a
to
bizarre
handle
state right now.
Person.
Yeah, like none of us have like sustainable jobs whatsoever because we're all like adult babies in this economy, you know, where we can't like find real jobs and keep them. Here we are playing music. Yay!
Well, thank you so much, Molly. It's great to talk to you, and I've just been so happy about all the success you guys have had in the last year. Like clearly the best indie pop record of last year. Like
thank you so much. So. That's really nice of you to say.
Thank you so much again.
Nice to meet you.